Hello and welcome to part 4 of Bartholomew Cubbins. Black magic, that's just what it is, sighed the king with relief. I should have thought that before. That makes things simple. Black, back to the throne room, call my magicians. In the whole throne room there wasn't a sound as loud as a breath. But from the spiral stairs that led down the southwest tower came scuffling or slow, padded feet. The magicians were coming, low and slow. They were changing words that were strange. Dig a hole 5 furlongs deep, down where the night snakes creep. Mix, mould the mystic mud, mabble, babble, titter and tud. In came 7 black-gowned magicians, and beside each one stalked a lean black cat. They circled around Bartholomew Cubbins, muttering deep, mysterious sounds. "Stop this useless muttering," ordered the king. "I want a chance that will charm away this boy's hat." Magicians huddled over Bartholomew and chanted, "Wilberkins, Tilberkins, Fonchi, K. Hat on the dean's heads, fly far away. Howlmen, bowlmen, howl away, bow away. You cats, hats. Yowl cats, yowl away. Yowl away. Yule cats, yowl away, yowl away. Hats on his demon's head. Step away, creep away, leap away, gleep away, never come back." "A mighty good chant," said the king, looking very pleased. "Are we sure it will work?" The magicians nodded together. "But," said the king, looking puzzled, "there still seems to be a hat upon his head. How long will it take for the charm to work?" "Be calm, oh sir, and bear no fears," chanted the magicians. "Our charm will work in 10 short years." "10 years?" gasped the king. "Away, fools!" he shouted. "Out of my sight! I can't wait 10 years. Get rid of his hat. Oh dear, what can I do? What can I do?" "If I were king," whispered the Grand Duke Wilfrid, "I would chop off his head." "A dreadful thought," said the king, biting his lip, "but I'm afraid I have to. Young man," he said to Bartholomew Cubbins, and pointed to a small door at the end of the room, "march down those steps to the dungeon and tell the executioner to chop your head. Bartholomew's heart sank in his boots, but he did as the king commanded. "I must take off my hat," he said to himself as he started down along the black hall stairway. "This is my last chance." One hat after another tore from his head. 156, 157, 158. It grew colder and damper. 217, 218, 219, down, 231, 232, 233. It seemed to Bartholomew. "Who's there?" said a voice from the blackness. Bartholomew turned the corner and stepped to the dungeon. The executioner was whistling and swinging his axe idly, because at the moment he had nothing to do. Despite his sins, he really seemed like a very pleasant man. "The king says you must chop off my head," said Bartholomew. "Oh, I'd hate to," said the executioner, looking at him with a friendly smile. "You seem such a nice boy." "Well, the king says you have to," said Bartholomew, "so please get over with." "All right," said the executioner, "but first you've got to take off your hat." Why, said Bartholomew. I don't know, said the executioner, but it's one of the rules. I can't excuse anyone with his hat on. Hold on. All right, said Bartholomew. You take off it for me. The executioner leaned across, chopping the chopping block and flipped off Bartholomew's hat. What's this? He gasped, blinking through the holes in his mask. It's another hat stuck on Bartholomew's head. He flipped this one off and another. And another. Fiddlesticks, grunted the excruciator, throwing his axe on the floor. I can't excruciate you at all. And the shock he shook hands with Bartholomew and sent him back upstairs to the king. The king had been taking a nap on the throne. What are you doing back here? He said to Bartholomew angrily, being awakened. I'm sorry, your majesty, explained Bartholomew. My head can't come off with my hat on. It's against the rules. So it can't, said the king, leaning back wildly. Now, many hats. Now, how many hats does that make together? The excruciator knocked off 13. I left 178 more on the dungeon steps, answered Bartholomew. 346 hats, mumbled Sir Alaric from behind his scroll. Uncle Derwin yawned. The Grand Duke Wilfrid. I suppose I have to do away with him. Send him up to the highest turret. I in person will push him off. Wilfrid. Wilfrid, I'm surprised at you, said the king, but I guess it's a good idea. And the king and the Grand Duke led Bartholomew Cubbins toward the highest turret. Up and up and up. The turret stairs he climbed. Behind them, this was my very last chance. Though Bartholomew, he snatched off his hat. 347. He snatched off another. He pulled and tore and flung them behind him. 398, 399. His arms ached from pulling off his hats, but still hats came. Bartholomew climbed on. 448, 449, 450, counted Sir Alaric, puffing up the stairs behind him. Suddenly Sir Alaric stopped. He looked and took off his triangular spectacles and wiped them on his sleeve, and then looked again. Hats began to change. Hat 451 had not one but two feathers. Hat 452 had three. Hat 453 also had three and a little red jewel. Each new hat was fancier than the one just before. Your Majesty, cried Sir Alaric, but the King and Grand Duke were far away, and they couldn't hear. They had already reached the top of the highest turret. Only was following just behind. Step out here and get out on that wall, snapped the Grand Duke Wilfrid. I can't wait to push you off. But when Bartholomew stepped up out of the wall, they gasped in amazement. He was wearing the most beautiful hat that they'd ever seen in the kingdom of Did. It had a ruby larger than any king himself had ever owned. It had ostrich plumes and cockatoo plumes, and mockingbird plumes, and paradise plumes. Beside such a hat, even the king's crown seemed like nothing. The Grand Duke Wilfrid took a quick step forward. Bartholomew thought his end had come at last. Wait, shouted the king. He could not take his eyes from the part. I won't wait, the Grand Duke talked back to the king. I'm going to push him off now. The big hat makes me madder than ever. And he flung his arms to push Bartholomew off. The king was quicker than Wilfrid. He grabbed him by the back of his fine lace collar. This is to teach you, His Majesty said sternly. The Grand Dukes never talk back to their king, and he turned the Grand Duke Wilfrid over his knee and spanked him soundly right on the seat of his royal silk pants. And now, smiled King, lifting Bartholomew down from the wall. Oh no, it would be nice if you'd sell me that wonderful hat. 498,499, who outside forced Aloud, who had just about to stop the steps, and that he pointed to the hand from them makes exactly 500. 500, examined the king. Will you sell it for 500 pieces of gold? Anything you say, sir, answered Bartholomew. You see, I've never sold one before. The king's hands trembled with joy. He reached for the hat slowly. Bartholomew felt weight of the great hat lifting from his head, and he held his breath. Then suddenly he felt cool evening breezes blow through his hair. His face broke into a happy smile, and the head of Bartholomew Cubbins was bare. Look, your majesty, look, shouted the king. Now, you look at me, answered the king, and he put the great hat over his crown. Arm in arm, the king and Bartholomew went down to the counting room to count out the gold. The king sent Bartholomew home to his parents, no basket on his arm, no hat on his head, but with 500 pieces of gold in the bag. And the king commanded the hat he had bought, and all other hats too, be kept forever in a great crystal case by the side of his throne. But neither Bartholomew Cubbins nor King Derwin himself, nor anyone else at the Kingdom of Dig could ever explain how the strange thing had happened. They could only say it just happened to happen, and it was not likely to happen again. You can watch the next book very soon, hopefully. Thank you.